This is a follow-up episode to the best eSIMs review I did a couple of weeks ago. So if you're still deciding on which is the best eSIM for your trip, you might want to check that out first. Today I'm going to show you how to install an eSIM on an iPhone using a QR code, and also if you were to do it manually. If you're on an Android phone, I think you'll still get a lot of value out of this as the steps are very similar. How to install eSIM with a QR code. First, there are multiple ways you can install an eSIM via QR code. I'm going to show you one way, but if the instructions you get from your carrier is a little bit different, don't worry, the general idea is the same. Next, before you get started, make sure you have a stable and strong internet connection. A Wi-Fi connection is preferable because you need internet in order to install your eSIM. So if you're going to be installing with a QR code, you're going to need another device, or you need to print out your QR code because you're going to need to scan your QR code with the phone that you're going to be installing the eSIM onto. You will receive your QR code either via an email or by visiting an account page that you set up during the purchase process. In this example, I'm going to install an eSIM from UBiggy. I was sent an email that contained the QR code as well as manual instructions, including the activation code. Note that it can take up to 15 minutes before you receive your code, so be patient. Go to Settings and click on Cellular and choose Add SIM. You'll notice down on the bottom, you also have the option to install it manually. We're going to go through this a little bit later. Then you want to scan your QR code. Now here is where I'm talking about why you need two devices or to have it printed out. Then continue to activate SIM. It will pop up a notice if you have another eSIM installed because you most likely can only have one operating at the same time, so you need to turn off one. In my case, I'm going to turn off UMobile. Next, click on Done, and as you can see here, it is installed with a label Travel. By default, the iPhone assigned it this label. Let's go ahead and change that to the name of the carrier, just so we know who it is. Let's go ahead and change this by clicking on it. Let's change this to UBiggy. Next, let's go ahead and check our internet connection to make sure it's working. Here you can see that UBiggy is on. Now let's check it on Google. Yep, working fine. For sure now, we know that our internet is working through UBiggy. Now down here, you can see that we've already used some data. Now let me show you how you can switch back to one of your other eSIMs. If you wanted to, if you had a regular SIM installed here, you can switch between those as well. So let's switch back to UMobile. Let's click on UMobile and then let's turn it on. It's going to ask me which eSIM I want to turn off. Since I have UBiggy currently on, I'm going to turn that one off in order to switch back to my UMobile eSIM. And here you can see that UMobile is now active and UBiggy is off. We can go to the network and check again, and sure enough, you can see that UMobile is working. Now let's install it manually. Here you can see my activation code, and I can break this up if I'm on an iPhone, as it will require an SMDP plus address as well as the activation code, but it's only parts of this entire code. The first section between the two dollar signs is your SMDP plus address. The second part after the second dollar sign is your activation code. So if we were to start all over, we would go to Settings, click on Cellular, Add eSIM, then click on Use QR code, and we're going to enter it manually. As you can see, the link down the bottom here. And here in these two spots, we will enter the SMDP address as well as the activation code. And everything else is the same as if you were doing this via the QR code. And remember, if you're on an Android phone, you would just enter the entire address, as there will only be one spot for activation code. And that's pretty much it. Other recommendations. When to install and activate your eSIM. Probably the best time to install and activate your eSIM will be when you arrive at your destination's airport. In Japan, all of the international airports have free Wi-Fi readily available. Because remember, you need internet in order to install your eSIM and activate it. Turn off data switching. But what is data switching? So on your phone, you have the capability to turn off data switching. And what that does is it prevents your phone from changing networks. So for instance, when you installed your eSIM, you want it to use that for your data. You don't want it to use your home carrier. If you leave data switching on, it can do that. So for instance, you installed your UBiggy eSIM, you're in Japan and you're traveling around and it's working fine with UBiggy. But suddenly you change locations and your phone recognizes that it has a stronger signal using your home network for some reason, and it switches to using your home carrier. Now you are roaming and you can incur large fees by using your home network. So make sure you turn off data switching. Here's how you do it. Go to Settings, click on Cellular, and up on the top, Cellular Data. And here it says Allow Cellular Data Switching. Make sure that is off. You don't want it green. Monitor your data usage. You can check your data usage in more than one way. On the iPhone, the easiest way is by clicking on your eSIM. If you scroll down, you can see your data usage at the bottom. Another way is if you've installed the app from the carrier, you can check your data usage there. A third option, if your carrier does not have an app, is you will be able to check it via a web application where you can log in. Ask your carrier for details on that. How to turn on the hotspot. This is also pretty easy. You just click this button and you can begin sharing your internet with multiple devices. Just remember, once you start tethering your device, sharing it with other devices, your phone's battery is going to drain much faster. Consider having multiple eSIMs. When traveling in Japan, we always have more than one eSIM installed on our phone, and they will be from different carriers using different networks. For instance, UBiggy uses the NTT Docomo network, whereas Airlo uses the SoftBank network. So by having different networks, if one isn't working so well, there's a very good chance the other one will. Of course, it's pretty easy to purchase and install another one if you need to. If you need a lot of data, you might want to consider also getting a pocket Wi-Fi. These also have limitations, but the amount of allotment per day is usually a lot more. For instance, the average is usually 3 gigabytes of data per day before you get throttled. We just tested out Socket Mobile's pocket Wi-Fi for 3 months and it worked great. I'll leave a link in the description below. Consider carrying a power bank. We recommend that you carry a power bank, especially once you start sharing your data with other users. The more devices you have connected, the faster the battery of your phone that's sharing the connection is going to drain. In fact, when we do this, our phone never lasts the entire day. So it's always good to carry a power bank with you. Even if you're not sharing your internet connection, if you're out taking a lot of photos and uploading data, you're going to use your battery quickly. All right, let's recap. Make sure you have a strong internet connection before you begin installing your eSIM. Preferably a Wi-Fi connection. If you're going to be installing by a QR code, remember you're going to be scanning, so you're going to need another device where you can view your QR code, or make sure you print it out ahead of time. If this is not an option for you, remember you can still install it manually, and now you know that's pretty easy. After you've installed and activated your eSIM, make sure you turn off data switching so it doesn't accidentally start using your home carrier's data. Monitor your data usage and consider getting more than one eSIM if you use a lot of data or if you're concerned your connection may not be so good, let's say if you're in some remote area. And you should be all set to have a great trip. Let me know if you have any other tips and if I forgot anything important. Next, you might want to watch our Best eSIMs review, or if you need more information about choosing between a pocket Wi-Fi SIM or eSIM. We have a lot more videos coming to help you with your trip to Japan, so make sure you subscribe. Thanks for watching.